Hello, this is your girl Jenna, and today I'm here to talk about reoccurring yeast infections, UTIs, BV, and overgrowth of yeast. Because sometimes you can have an overgrowth of yeast, but not necessarily have an infection. So we're going to talk about that. If you are brand new, make sure you put up a number 81. If you are a regular, please put up a 100. Okay? I'm Jenna. I am a holistic practitioner and I help people deal with whatever wellness concerns that they have. I help them deal with it naturally. So today we're going to talk about reoccurring BV, yeast infections, UTIs. All right? So let's touch on BV. What is it? Okay. BV is just basically a particular bacteria that is building up in your system. It usually almost always starts in your digestive system. So a lot of people don't understand. They feel like the bacteria that you guys are going through, like the infections and all that, it starts in that area. It really doesn't. It starts in your digestive area. Okay. Before I get really into it, guys, hit the heart buttons if you can hear me. Hit the heart buttons if you can hear me. That'll tell me that I'm coming through. Also, make sure you share this video. Share this video as well. Okay? So, yeah, digestion is very, very important in dealing with any type of infections. Okay? So, if you were to um, basically become a member of my exclusive group, which is at the link tree, I will basically uh, give you a consultation and let you know some basic things that you can do to basically heal the situation and for it to not come back because that's kind of irritating, right? All right, so let me just talk about this apple cider vinegar. I always talk about this because a lot of people don't understand how this works. They don't understand if it's good for you, if it's bad for you. And so I always love talking about it. I myself, I take this pretty much at least 5 times a week, twice a day. That's what I do. With me, it just helps. It helps in general. Let's talk about it. Yes, it's acidic, but it helps with your digestion. Digestion is key to health. So if you're not digesting well, you are going to be a good candidate for a lot of infections. Okay, you have to digest. This is great in the morning on an empty stomach before you eat. It helps me with clarity. It helps me to focus. It helps me to not feel like heavy, especially if you've had like a high carb meal. This would be awesome. This is great for high heart rate. If you are suffering from high blood pressure, if you have glucose problems, this is basically what you need. Now, there's a specific way that you take it. It's a specific way that I teach my members of the group to take this. I know it's so much information out there, but I teach a specific way to take this. There are some other things that you can group with this to even make it more potent. Okay. So if you want to learn healthy remedies like this, make sure you join my group, which is located at the link tree, and it is $40 for 1 year. Another thing that you may want to incorporate is cinnamon. Cinnamon is awesome. Hello, I see you. Cinnamon is awesome, guys. I've been using cinnamon for over 15 years to deal with holistic issues. Okay, cinnamon is awesome. It is a bacteria fighter. It is a basically blood cleanser. It's good for your liver. Liver health is very, very important, guys, when it comes to protecting yourself from infections. So if you get BV a lot, if it's something that you really can't get rid of, then more than likely your liver is not healthy. Okay, because let's talk about the liver. The liver actually aids in digestion. It really teaches that. You just think maybe I don't even know if people are actually aware of how important digestion is. Let me just let you know, digestion, or basically your immune system, lives in your digestive system. It's like 70% of your immune system is in your digestive system. So if your digestion system is not working effectively, then your immune system is not working effectively. That means you probably keep a lot of colds, you keep a lot of infections, you're never, energetic. You feel like you need a lot of sugar to work. A lot of us feel like sugar, sweets, and things like that is going to keep us going. When in actuality, sugar is it has addictive effects on our brains. It affects our dopamine. It causes us to produce more dopamine, and it helps us to basically become addicted. It depletes our immune system. So the first thing you want to do is, if you're watching or listening to this video or podcast, whatever you want to call it, visual podcast, um, the first thing you want to do is you want to stop eating so much sugar. That's one thing I do. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I say that on all of my content that I provide. I don't do sugar. I don't do sugary drinks. I don't do fruit juices. I don't do, sweets. I just don't. The sweetest thing that I've ever known is a kiss to the collarbone. I mean, really, I just don't do uh, sweets like that. I really don't. And for that, I feel like that's why I don't get a lot of infections. I don't have odors and things like that because sugar feeds that bacteria. It feeds bacteria. It feeds bad bacteria and it causes us to thrive and it becomes overwhelming. Let's talk about yeast for a minute, okay? If you've had a yeast infection, this part of the video will be very valuable to you. So let me go ahead, drink some water. Yeast can grow on your skin. If you get a lot of rashes, okay, especially like rashes usually like hang out like in your neck and moist areas. I don't know if you guys understand, but rashes are actually yeast. Yeah, it's yeast. Kind of, it may not be white, but it's kind of yeasty. Yeah. So, if you have skin problems like psoriasis, uh, what's another one? What is it? Psoriasis. What's the other one? Eczema and things like that. I treat all of those skin conditions like outward yeast infections. I bet you guys didn't know that. And there is a cocktail that I take, and when I say cocktail, it's a cocktail of supplements that I take on a daily basis to protect myself from having those problems. Because if you have diabetes, especially diabetes that is not properly taken care of, and things like that, you are going to be more susceptible to getting infections. Okay, so yeah, I have a cocktail that I actually take on a daily basis to keep my body okay. But yes, when you have psoriasis, when you have eczema, when you have dermatitis, when you have any kind of skin issues, that is like a yeast infection or a yeast breakout. Yeast slash candida, that is the technical term for yeast. It feeds off of a certain diet: high carbs, sugar, high fats, fried foods, bread. I don't know if you guys understand. Bread has yeast. Now, certain types of breads may have less yeast in it, and you have to start to read the ingredients in everything that you eat, including your bread. If you're a person who sits around and just eats that cheap loaf white bread, if you're listening to this right now and you're suffering from BV or a UTI or a yeast infection right now, look at your bread, look at the sugar content in the bread, and it may not have any sugar, but look at the carb content because carbs turn into sugar. Look at the sodium content. A high sodium diet will also lead you to having these infections because salt dries stuff up. If you know anything about the feminine makeup, if you will, is supposed to be a self cleaning instrument. Okay? It is a self cleaning instrument, meaning that it is supposed to wash itself out. However, due to the fact that our diets are not good, it is not giving that environment what it needs to cleanse out. So when sodium is in the play, of your diet very heavily, you're going to dry up. You're not going to basically cleanse out or detox, and then it will lead to issues. Then you'll always need these different honey pots and Vagisil and Summer's Eves and any other kind of soaps that you guys are buying to fix a problem. Let me let you know this. Even the soaps that we use have something that has glycerin in it, has some type of sugars. You have to know like your words. Like anything with OL is alcohol. Anything with OSE, sucrose, glucose means sugar. If you look at the ingredients and you see any types of sugar that's in that soap, just understand that you are feeding the bacteria that's going on. And that's why you're constantly in need of these soaps and things because you're not really dealing with the problem. Okay? It is so quiet in here, guys. This is a live video. This is not a recording or a replay at the moment. Guys, if you are listening, please say hello. I feel like when people actually watch me and they don't say hello, I think it's kind of rude. I really do. I don't know if it's because I'm so professional. And I'm like, is my professional working against me? If so, oh well. Guys, I welcome you right now to say hello. Let me get a few hellos to let me know that I have somebody listening because I see the numbers, but I don't see people actually talking to me. And I think that's kind of odd. I don't mean any harm, but I really do think it's odd that no one is talking. But I get it. You guys are listening and writing notes, and I do understand that. But please, guys, in fact, when you actually comment, it helps my video. It helps this platform know that my video is happening. It's really like popping and locking in here. When you guys are quiet, it doesn't tell that. So you guys are not helping me by being quiet. You're helping me by commenting. Just like I'm helping you with this information, you guys help me with your questions, with your shares, with your comments, okay? Because don't make me think that me being professional is not getting me anywhere. I know it's getting me places, but I need you guys to talk. So please do that. And I see the hellos. And I appreciate everybody who actually took the time to say hello to me. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much, guys. And if you want more information and more support, make sure you go to my link tree, join my group for $40. It's for 1 year. With that, you will get one-on-one consults with me. If anything happens within that 1 year and you need the holistic standpoint, I'll be there for you, let you know what to do, what supplement to take, and it's up to you to take it. I had one of my clients I say, look, I know you gave me this, but I'm on my medication and I'm just gonna take that. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're not serious about holistic, don't waste your time because holistic and traditional, it really, I mean, it can mix because I'm that good. I know how to get the supplements where it actually can help you with whatever you're taking as well. But the end goal should be where you may want to cut down on some of your medications. So if you're actually listening to this and you have high blood pressure, there is a supplement out here that will serve two purposes. It will help you with your glucose because usually glucose and blood pressure works together. You know what I mean? And so there is supplements out here that will do both. That will basically you don't need the other stuff if you do the diet as well. Let me let you know this, guys. Can I do a little side note? And I'm not here to say don't take medication. I myself do not take prescriptions. I make that um, I made that decision years ago. I just didn't like how it made me feel. But I did the work. Just understand that when we take prescriptions, the prescriptions basically does everything for you. Regardless if you eat bad food, it'll still give you good numbers. Meaning your blood pressure might be good, but your intestines and your organs and everything are going to be screaming because you're just silencing your body to not show the symptoms of what you have. If you're eating a cheeseburger and fries every day and you're on a major prescription, but yet you go to the doctors and they say, oh, 125 over 85 is good, what would your blood pressure be without that medication? Okay? That medication is just hiding the real problem. That's the difference between the medication versus the holistic way. The holistic way is going to tell you to, along with this herb, you're going to have to eat healthy as well. And then your body will be able to heal ultimately. It will not just be giving you great numbers. You won't just be improving your A1C. You'll be improving everything at one time, so you'll be ultimately better. I have to say that because I don't think people understand how prescriptions work. Just like birth control. Birth control is just going to tell your ovaries to stop ovulating. That's it. It's not saying that your body doesn't still want to ovulate. It's not saying that those birth control pills aren't doing something else, because even though you may not get a regular period, doesn't mean that your body isn't building up a tissue for it to go ahead and slough off every month. It's just telling your body not to have a period or not to ovulate. So while you're not ovulating, your ovaries are just basically keeping eggs in its system where it's supposed to be shedding, it's supposed to be getting rid of, and all you're doing is building up issues with fibroids, endometriosis, and PCOS and infertility. And then when you stop the birth control and you want to have a family, your body is so messed up that you won't be able to do it. See my drift? So at the end of the day, there is a natural way to do things. It says in the Bible, I think, food is our medicine. So the way that you deal with BV is not, oh, let me go ahead and let me just take some antibiotics. Antibiotics doesn't work after a while. It becomes resistant. See, that's why I love holistic. Things like garlic, things like ginger, things like that, turmeric. Our bodies don't build a resistance to any of these things because it's food. Versus the antibiotics is just going to go ahead and get rid of everything, including the good, just like chemo. It gets rid of everything. And then you're so depleted. Like chemo, a lot of people on chemo, they get infections because it basically is getting rid of everything, messing up your whole immune system, and then you can't fight a darn thing, and then you stay sick. I don't know who that's for, but I'm just letting you know the difference between taking a medication versus doing it holistically. Is it overnight? No, it's over time. It takes at least a week for you to put a good regimen into play, make sure it works, and then you'll start to see the results. Just like if you a person who has BV and I tell you the exact diet that you need to follow, because it's a diet you have to follow to beat this. It's not a pill. It's not a magic wand. It's none of that. It is an actual regimen that you have to follow. If you have yeast, and a lot of us women, yeast doesn't have necessarily an odor, but if you're really, really into yourself like that, you'll know that the odor smells like bread. It literally smells like bread baking. Like, have you ever been to Subway and you know that they bake their bread fresh, but you have that yeasty smell, you smell it? That's how your discharge would have an odor. Sometimes it would smell like bread, which could kind of go over your head because it doesn't have a fishy or trashy odor, nor can outside people smell it. So you're really not paying attention that, yes, you have yeast. But that white stuff that you see, it looks like icing on cake. That's yeast. If your tongue is very pasty white, that's yeast. And remember, if you're a person who has a lot of rashes, that's also yeast. And so there is a regimen that you have to follow and supplements that you have to incorporate in your daily life to keep the yeast down. Because remember, you can have a lot of yeast and not necessarily have a yeast infection. A yeast infection is when it's really out of sorts, and then everything becomes inflamed, and then that's when pain comes in, and then you'll definitely know that you have a yeast infection. But a lot of yeast infections, of course, it has a beginning, just like anything else has a beginning. It's just during that beginning you may not know. So those are the indicators. If you have a lot of your secretions or your discharge, if you have discharge, because you shouldn't have a lot of discharge in my opinion, and you can actually look that up. Your discharge is basically saying that you have discharge means you're getting rid of. And then just to let you know, your discharge has, so many other things that you're losing. You're losing on key nutrients, what they call trace minerals that we need, that is easily used through our loss through our urine and all of that. And so when you're always watery and discharging, that's why I kind of like laugh at this new era where they're telling women to be whoppy and and things like that. They're really trying to indirectly make us infertile. I'm just keeping it real. Just it's so funny how music now is kind of like steering and programming us to be these highly adult women and very highly promiscuous, and telling us that we always have to be like a faucet, when in actuality, if you're always like a faucet, you're going to have an odor, you're going to be sick, and you're going to be infertile, because you shouldn't be whoppish every day. And when you are whoppish, it should be clear. Clear is good. Any kind of color, thank you so much for that donation. Any kind of color that's in your discharge, it's an indication that something is not right. So if it's white, that's yeast. Okay? Don't be afraid of yourself too, because when you go to the doctors, they're all up in your situation. They're telling you to do all kinds of stuff and getting all kinds of positions to. Thank you so much for that donation. You need to become one with yourself as well. And you need to know what's going on, because you're usually the first point of contact. You're the first person who smells yourself, and you're the first person who needs to be understanding. Take a mirror or a cell phone and take a picture. Turn into your favorite pinup girl for yourself for 5 minutes and take a picture of your space. Okay? And by the way, there are two parts to a female, a woman, two parts. You have the outer area and you have the internal space. I can't say the names, but you know what they're called, okay? If you don't, Google it. There are two areas. And I think that people don't understand that the outside area needs to be cleaned. It needs to be washed. It needs to be, you need to deal with that. What you don't do is you do not place soap or any other things inside of the canal. You don't do that. If you do that, you're going to be susceptible to infections. Okay? So I just have to let you know that. And anything, if you're intimate with anybody, make sure they're clean. Like I'm married, been married for a long time, and it's a rule. Like you have to have a shower, you have to be clean before anything, because I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive. We say we're sensitive to soaps, but you're sensitive to different men too. All men are not created equal. Your man has to be clean. And when I say clean, I mean internally clean too. Like whatever diet, like if you're on this keto and you're on this and that, your man, your partner has to be on that as well for it to really, really, really work. Because remember, when you bond with somebody, which you should be married, I have to say that. Okay, you should be married. Whenever that happens, guys, you want to make sure that your partner is clean as well, okay? Because whatever they're eating, you're eating. You can't be saying, I only eat chicken, fish, and turkey, but your partner, your man, is eating pork, beef, he's smoking twice a week, he's drinking adult beverages and smoking and doing all that, and you feel like, and he's having high sugar diet and all of that. That doesn't work. Okay, so really, thank you so much for that donation. That does not work. You guys have to be evenly yoked on the same precipice. I don't even know if that's the correct word, but you got to be on the same plateau, guys. Okay? I don't know who that's for, but just understand that if you watch this video and you are touched and you're like, you know what, I saw Jenna today and I'm going to change my diet, I'm going to change my ways, just understand that your husband got to do the same for everything to work, and he'll benefit from it as well. He'll lose weight, he'll have more stamina, he'll feel better, and you guys will have a better life together. Because who wants to constantly have problems, you know? And you have a yeast infection, you're out of commission for 7 days. 7 days. And not only that, like the infection can go away, but the yeast could still be there. You get what I'm saying? And so you can pass that along too. Like you can pass yeast to your mate. It's just kind of disgusting. It's just not cool. So there's a specific, thank you so much for those donations. It's a specific way that you have to live to keep your bodies from getting these type of infections. Let's talk about UTI, shall we? Okay, so UTIs, they teach us that cranberries, cranberry juice. Now, cranberry juice, the real cranberry juice, meaning that you blended it up, put some spring water, and you drink it back, that's going to give you the best environment ever. It's very alkaline. It's not sweet. It's bitter. Anything that's bitter besides a woman is good. Now, a bitter woman ain't good. But bitter foods, bitter fruits, bitter herbs are the best. They're going to keep you on this earth longer and your quality of life will improve. Remember that, okay? Being bitter as a woman is bad. Eating bitter foods is awesome, okay? So no, you don't want to go ahead and eat a lot of cranberry. You don't want to do cranberry juices, fruit juices, strawberry juices, lemonade, sugar. Remember, any kind of like health benefits, even pomegranate juice, any health benefits that these fruits have without being just basically the sugar taken out of it and placed in a bottle and all that. Oh, and besides, just drinking it out of a plastic bottle is not good. Okay, so the plastic bottles are not good to have acidic fruits in it. Okay, so just understand that fresh cranberries are good. I myself, I pop them like candy. I have cranberries in my freezer and I just pop them like candy, eat 3 or 4, keep it moving. Why? Because it's going to keep that urethra. Is it urethra? Is it urethra or urethra? Don't know, don't care if you're read something, okay? It's going to keep it clean. It's going to get that bacteria. It's going to help that bacteria that naturally may build up in your urethra, okay? It's going to help you to get rid of it when you urinate. Okay, so just do that. Okay, make sure that you get some fresh cranberries. Depending on the time of the year, you know, you may not have cranberries out in the produce area. You may have to go to the frozen section, and the frozen section is all year round. Okay, if the store that you go to, usually the health food stores, okay, usually the health food stores and things like that, like what is it, Whole Foods or Kroger's or Piggly Wiggly, no matter where you are, I don't know. They may have, um, cranberry juices, okay? Because the urethra is really serious, guys. That's one thing that we have in common with men. Okay, they have a urethra as well. Okay, and they would value from cranberry juice as well. So yeah, fresh cranberries, pop them like candy, keep it moving. You'll be fresh. You'll have a nice cool smell and a nice, cool palate, if you will. Because it is what it is. I'm a married woman. I understand, you know. Nobody wants to be with somebody who has an odor. And the thing about it is sometimes it's you don't understand where it's coming from. You know, even your doctors may not know. You know, they're just going to be like, oh, it's just normal. All women smell like this. No, all women do not, and you just educate yourself. It's okay. So yeah, cranberries. Cranberries will really, really work for you. Okay, fresh cranberries. Let's not do the juices. The juices are not good. And I hope you guys, if you have odors, if you have UTIs, if you have yeast infections, I would hope that you ain't drinking soda. Okay? I am so tired of people talking about they cut down their sodas to one soda a day. That is 7 sodas a week. And like, let me see, the average soda, even if you're drinking like a little whatever it's called, I don't know, because I haven't had soda since 2003. I don't drink soda. Sodas are the worst. They're the devil. I don't mean no harm. If you want diabetes, drink soda. If you don't want diabetes, don't drink soda. And that's what I said. It has at least 40 grams of sugar per soda. That's why they're making laws that you can't have certain sizes and stuff like that. So you cutting down to one soda a day, which is 7 sodas a week, that's over 210 grams of sugar just in your drink alone. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And that is basically tearing up your whole insides. It's tearing up your reproductive system. So this is to all of my women who have heavy periods, who have PCOS, endometriosis, and whatever else you may be going through. Sodas are the worst. And I'm not saying any brands, but it is what it is. I don't care if it's sugar free. I don't care if it's zero. I don't care. I don't know all this stuff they're pushing. Even the sodas that says that they're zero, they have other things in there. The fake sugars is just as bad, if not worse. Stop. I mean, and the thing about it is, a lot of people know that sodas are bad, just like cigarettes are bad, but because you're just so addicted. Remember the dopamine situation. Okay, sugar helps us produce dopamine. Dopamine is a nice feeling, you know what I mean? And you get addicted. And so you can't even stop doing it because you're so used to it and you love it and you love the feeling. You know what I mean? So I don't drink sodas. I don't drink juices. Only thing I drink is water and I put lemon in it. That has been my beverage for years. Okay? If you have skin problems, just drink water. And I drink out of a metal bottle. I don't drink out of plastic. I say this all the time. Do not drink out of plastic. Do not get your water bottles, those water bottles. And this is for people who are listening. I know it's going to be people in here who are not able to do that. But whatever you're able to do, if you cannot just cut out the plastic, where you can, please do so. I'm going to let you know, those bottles are stuck in warehouses. Warehouses are hot. A lot of people keep water in their car. Your car during the summertime and heat, it gets hot. What happens is the plastic that it's made out of, like the plastic is all like mushy and gushy. That means the plastic is in your water. When you drink that back, it gets into your lymphatic system, clogs your lymphatic systems with estrogens, with xenoestrogens, with plastics and all the other chemicals, and it can literally cause you to become ill. It can give you terminal illnesses. It really can. Everything I'm saying, you can fact check me. I'm not just making this up. Somebody told me this years ago, and while I was drinking the water, I was like, oh my gosh, and I haven't done it since. I was like, I don't need any problems. So yeah, you're drinking plastic. That's why the water may have a funny, funny taste and all of that. So try your best to not drink out of bottled anything. Don't get your vinegars, like my apple cider vinegar is in glass, you know. Your juices, if you have to get any kind of juices, you want to get your fruit juices from glass, not plastic. Plastic is not good. Plastic is in everything, okay? But what you don't want to do is you don't want to drink your plastics. That's just the worst thing you can do because they can straighten your bloodstream and causes problems down the road. Okay? If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and type them up. Somebody said they keep water in their car. Yeah, I mean a lot of people do, and it's not good. But you didn't know. Now you do, and hopefully you can make adjustments in your everyday life. You know, that's all I'm here for, to give you a new take on things. So somebody asked, how do I talk? How do they talk to me? Well, you go to the link tree. You join. The group is actually $40. That's it for 1 year. And as soon as you join, basically you have access to me, and I do a one-on-one consultation. I also have a group where I share things publicly, so it's a public group, as well as you can talk to me or any other practitioner that I have. one-on-one. Okay. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them up. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if you are watching this, usually people who watch these type of videos, you have some type of need. If you have any of the things that I've talked about today, I can help you. Like I said, there's a cocktail that I use every day. I'm 40 years old. And so after you become 40 and 50 and all that, hormones change. And so a lot of our infections that we get on a daily basis, I don't know if you guys understand it, it is hormone driven. Okay. Not to mention, guys, I forgot the biggest reason or the biggest contributor to all of these infections is stress. Let's talk about stress for a minute. Stress and little doses is okay, but a lot of us is going through a lot of stress. So let's talk about it real quick. What kind of bottle you put your water in, and what's the best water to drink? I have lupus and skin. Right. So what I would do, with all due respect, I would tell you to get a consultation and basically pay your $40 for 1 year, and I can talk to you there because it's no, you have lupus. So you already said that you could value from the information and from the support that I give. So pay your $40 and I can talk to you there and give you much more attention than this video. You get what I'm saying? This video is for information. It's for that. But as far as one-on-one, I mean, if you have an autoimmune disease, you definitely would benefit from the information because there's so many things out there that you can do to keep that under wraps and things like that. More than just water, trust me. Okay, so you go ahead, get that $40, and I would love to talk to you about that. I find I get yeast after my cycle. Yep, exactly. So let's talk about it. Stress, right? Stress is horrible because we produce this thing called cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. It's very high in the morning. It's supposed to dissipate at night. That's why a lot of people are not able to rest and go to sleep because your cortisols are very, very high. You're probably sluggish during the day and very hyped at night. You want to switch that. That circadian cycle is all over the place. But what happens is our liver has a function. It actually will store sugar. It's called glycogen. So the more carbs that you eat, your body will store up to 3 pounds of fluid a day. Your liver will store up to 3 pounds of fluid a day. That's why I weigh myself every day. I weigh myself once in the morning and once at night. If you are putting on more than a pound and a half a day, if you're putting on more than a pound and a half for that day, you probably ate too many carbs. Okay, and so what happens is when you don't eat, and a lot of women who have BV and yeast infections and all that, you do not eat, you do not sleep, and you do not do what you're supposed to do. You don't exercise, you don't do all that. So you basically help your body to basically become this big stress ball. So when you don't eat, your liver will release sugar in your bloodstream. Any kind of sugar spike that your body will sense will wake up bad bacteria. It'll be like, okay, bad bacteria will just say, okay, I see sugar. It'll wake up. And then that's how you can have basically be fine one day and the next day have a whole yeast infection because maybe the day before you were real stressed or you ate something that was incorrect and then boom, you have that itchy feeling. So you want to cut down on your carbs and your sugars. That in of itself will help the bacteria that's bad that causes these problems to dissipate, to die, to not thrive in your body, to cause you all of these problems. Okay. So yeah, that's what stress does. So you want to cut your stress down. Caffeine, drinking coffee, and a lot of sugar, it does something to our brains, people. It causes issues. And so what happens is we're always up and amped. When you're up and amped and you're all over the place, you tend to eat bad foods, you tend to not be able to go to sleep, you don't want to exercise, and all kinds of things just happens and it causes so many bad situations. And so when our cortisol is up, our estrogens will go up by default because you're putting on weight. Estrogen loves fat. It loves a woman who is all over the place in her diet. And that is the problem, guys. I mean, I can just talk to you about this all day. It's just it is what it is. It's a circle. One thing happens and then it causes like a domino effect. So it's not just let me hurry up and take a pill. And by the way, these over the counter these azos and these other things, these things that specifically are saying that they help against UTIs and yeast infections, stay away from them. I'm gonna tell you why. Look at the ingredients on it. You'll see sucrose on it, some type of sugar. Remember I said during this video, sugar feeds bacteria. So why would you prescribe something that actually feeds the bacteria? You can't get rid of it and feed it at the same time. That just doesn't work. Another thing is these diabetes medicines. Oh my gosh. These diabetes medicines that are supposed to help you with your sugar numbers and your A1C. Don't be so concentrated on the A1C numbers and not actually concentrate on how your body is. Those, you can actually look this up. A lot of those medications will cause you to have a yeast infection because a lot of us mentally feel that the medication of diabetes medication is going to help solve all the things that we eat. So I can go ahead and have this piece of cake because all I got to do is take my medication and I'm straight. I can take this boom boom, I can take this medication and I'll be all right. And that's why you constantly have the problem because the medication, like I said in the video, I said it earlier in this video, I said the medication will stop the numbers, but it will not stop the internal problem because that's not what it's for. It's not to heal you, it's to just give you better numbers to make you feel like you're doing something, but you really aren't. Okay, so I'm not talking about it. I'm not telling you not to take it. I'm just letting you know what it's for. It's for emergency purposes only. It's not for long term. You can actually read your labels on your medications, and it will say that it will damage your liver and your kidneys over time. In fact, it says it by saying if you have liver damage and kidney damage, don't take it. But all of those type of prescriptions over time will cause you to have liver and kidney issues as well as diabetes is affected. I mean, your kidneys and your liver is affected by diabetes. So by default, the medicine is really not for people who have diabetes because you're not able to get rid of things effectively anyway. You needed to do the natural thing. So I don't know who that's for. I don't know who that's for. But yeah, you really want to do natural stuff because it's better for you. Okay? Let's see what you guys are actually saying. Okay, so somebody says, honey, if your husband has type 2, you have type 2. We have to say, we have to understand that when we're married, we're one. So if your husband has type 2 and you're that type of wife who actually feeds him differently than yourself, then you're causing more of a problem. I'm gonna need you to understand that we have diabetes. You know how when a woman gets pregnant, some people say we are pregnant. So you're both diabetics because his sugars, when you guys are together, it'll affect you. If his sugar is high and you're having problems, I mean, he's having problems with his sugar, you guys connect, he gives you a yeast infection because he's placing all of that sugar into you. We are diabetes. We are diabetics. We have high blood pressure. Okay, because a lot of us, we are basically feeding our symptoms in our kitchen. We're feeding our problems in our kitchen. You know what I mean? And so I say, I don't know, I'm not getting on you. I just want you to understand that if your husband's a diabetic, and I'm going to tell you, men have diabetes and it affects them just as bad as it does women, if not worse. They may not get the yeast infections, but they'll have the impotence. Yeah. They'll have the impotence. And in that and of itself, woo, yeah, we got to get that together. Okay? Yeah, I'm just keeping it real. Because don't be giving him that Viagra. Okay? Because that Viagra is going to have all kinds of issues. That lisinopril, that Viagra, that Levitra, that Keisha, that Pam. Don't give him that. Tell his butt to stop eating all that sugar. Get his diet right. And he'll be right back in playing form again within 30 days. Okay? Thank you so much for that donation. You're so welcome, guys. It looks like you guys, look, hit that heart button. Hit those heart buttons if this video has helped you out, guys. I hope so. If you're interested in more information and support, make sure you go ahead and join the group. It is $40 for 1 year. If you have lupus, autoimmune disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, anything that I've talked about today, BV, reoccurring BV, yeast infections, yeast overgrowth, UTIs, anything, you would benefit from the group because I help people out with all of that. Also, women, if you're joining, you'll benefit. Your husband will benefit too because the information I give you, it'll be good for him. It'll be good for the children. It'll be good for everybody because it's all about holistic and wellness with the whole family. Okay? If one child has autism, all your children have autism. Okay? It is what it is because a lot of these conditions that we deal with, they affect everybody. You know what I mean? So, type 2 diabetic, if mom is a type 2 diabetic, everyone is. She should be cooking for everybody the same way because the children and the husband and the family will benefit from that. So, like in my family, everybody eats just the way that I eat. Just because I may have a condition doesn't mean that my husband's not going to benefit. Okay? It is what it is. That's how it works. Okay? Thank you so much for watching.